Good evening. How's everybody today? I hope you're doing well. What have I been doing? This morning I worked in the garden a little bit, planting some plants. Actually 2 pineapple. Want to see? So you can see all the pineapples are gone except for this guy. But what I have done is over here is a couple of pineapples that I've taken and eaten already, which were very, very nice. I potted. And the durian tree is looking pretty good. It's coming on. It's got a couple of new leaves just in there. It's really difficult. I think I disturbed the roots when I took it out of the bag. And anyway, we'll see what happens. And this one in here, if the birds will leave it alone, is avocado. The avocado that's yellow, that's really tasty. It's actually pear-shaped. The texture's the same, the taste is similar but not as soft. It's crossed between the avocado and a potato, but it's really tasty. So anyway, I had that sitting next to the sink and it just started sprouting a root. So I put it in some dirt. You can see where the root come out and then the stalk is coming. So I put it in dirt quickly this morning and put it where I put everything else, over there under the tree. So they get the early morning sun, but no sun in the day, so they don't burn up. So we'll see how that goes. That's what I've been doing this morning. And then I went food shopping. Exciting, huh? I was going to do my open my video or talk to you at the mall, but it's way too noisy. You know, Mr. Sticky, keep your money in your pocket. You can go, there's one place that I like to go, a coffee shop I like to go. It's sort of out in the open. It's in the mall, but in the open upstairs, around the techie stuff, you know, all the laptops and phones. And it's nice, but they want 75 baht for a cup of lemon tea, which is what, 1 pound, almost 2 pounds. Like $2 and some cents for a tea with lemon and sugar. So there's another shop I told you about, 19 baht for a bigger cup. So you're getting more tea, it tastes nicer for 19 baht. So you can say 20, if the exchange rate is 40 baht to the pound, that's 50 pence. So you can have almost 2 pounds, or you can have 50p. So I got the 50p one, because it's bigger and tastes nicer. And I think we really have to be switched on to things like that. Some people will say, oh, you're too tight, you spend your money. But I could say, you spend it, I'll keep mine in my pocket. And here's why. For the tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists, I was listening to a guy talking about finances there. You know the guy who did Rich Dad Poor Dad? He wrote those books about how to keep your money in your pocket. Well, years ago I used to read all that stuff. And about finances, I was like a kind of a basic guru on finances, how to save my money. But you know what I found out? You work hard, you pay taxes on your money, you pay Social Security on your money, and you're left with a portion of what you've earned. And you put it in the bank. And then how much interest do you get on it? Nothing. Years ago you did. I remember once upon a time I had my savings account in Lloyd's in England, and it was 10%. So if you had, a million, what is 10% of a million? 100,000, I think, right? So in a year, you would have got 100,000 pounds interest. Like, dude, unfortunately, I didn't have much money back then. Young guy, married, children, etc., etc. If you had 10%, that's okay. What is it today? You're lucky if you can get 0.5% somewhere. So if you have some savings, so basically what they're saying is, you got to find every way possible to keep it in your pocket, and ways of investing without having to pay taxes. And the guy was talking to like Jeff Bezos for Amazon. Like after a year of working, he paid no tax. And did he fiddle the books? No, he just played the tax rules. He has experts in tax and played the tax rules and paid no taxes. So that's what we need to learn. Keep your money in your pocket. But you know, I wanted to talk about something about thinking for yourself. It really made me smile when I heard this the other day. Let me put my glasses on so I can read something to you. Do you know this guy, Miko Kakao? He's a Miko K-A-K-U. He's a Japanese scientist. He's one of the founders of string theory. I don't know if you know much about string theory, but it's talking about different dimensions and, you know, little small quarks and waveforms and things like that. I studied this many years ago to try to understand what they were talking about. If you know anything about spiritual stuff or anything like that, you know, you can feel something in your body, like you think nobody's touching me, but you feel something. Well, there's many reasons, and string theory ties into all that. That's why I studied about it before. But one of the things he was asked when he's being interviewed is, you know, he's this professor. I got it here, my notes, but I forgot what I was going to say. So he's a professor of string theory, and he was asked the question, why do scientists so interested in space? And he says, they look at space because they want to find intelligence. And she says, isn't there intelligence here? And he said, he made some snidey comment. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, there's so much intelligence here that we don't even understand, such as the reproductive system. How does that happen? I mean, okay, we know how it works. You know, the seed goes into the egg and a baby's born. But if we're talking about intelligence, and then you think to yourself about abortion and things like that, you think, huh? I don't understand. Why do we chop all the forests down? Why are people living in cities? Why do they want you, like in England, in America, years ago, they were trying to force people to move into towns. You know, herd them all up into corrals. I don't want to live in a town. I want to live like I do. I like to grow my own stuff. You know, if the soil was better and it wasn't so hot, I'd grow a lot more stuff, like tomatoes, cucumber, etc. I got another guy to talk to you about, right? This guy's another professor of psychology, originally from, I'm not sure, Northeast America, but he wound up working at a university in California, I think. And now he's in Queensland University, a professor of psychology. Been studying intelligence again. Where does our intelligence come from? And he said millions of years ago people weren't intelligent, okay? You know, but now we are much more intelligent. I'm like, okay. Back to my same thing I just said. If we're that intelligent, he's talking about like how we treat each other and things like that, and I'm like, I totally agree with you. But I don't think we've got more intelligent lately. I mean, you just have to, wars, rumors of wars and stuff like that. And what is it going to take to actually step up and do something? I don't know what it's going to be. You know, I have no idea what the solution is. But one of the reasons why I live the way I do, alone and away from everybody else, is because I don't have to interact with the troublemakers and so on. I've heard people from Britain and America both say, stay there because it's dangerous here. You only have to watch the news. Look at Paris. Look at Philippines, the things that are happening. All over the world, craziness is happening. And then you've got America playing, you know, it's playing with Iran now. Iran hasn't bothered anybody for over 100 years or more. And America's been at war for, what, since when? The Second World War? You know? So almost, what is that, 80 years or something they've been at war? With somebody all the time, and guess what? I watched somebody the other day saying every single war they've had was based on a lie. The Bay of Tonkin for Vietnam, Pearl Harbor, all of it was based on a lie. They took out Iraq because of what happened in the Twin Trade Towers and so on. All of it was based on a lie. Libya didn't do nothing. You know what Libya did? They wanted to, their currency was called the dinar, and they wanted it to be gold back, and they wanted to bring all of Africa to the gold standard. So he had to disappear. Libya, you know, Gaddafi had free education for everybody, when this couple got married, they got 50,000 pounds for free towards a house, free electricity, free everything. And he was bad to the people. Anyway, you know, if we keep listening to the same people, we're going to hear the same song, right? So what am I saying? 2%. Remember what I said before. So, you know, the string theorist said we're looking for intelligence, and I'm thinking, it's here, but you know what, might find it in people. But look at trees. I mean, how does a tree know how to bring in certain chemicals, certain compounds, certain solutions, and produce a fruit that is crazy good for us? When we separate ourselves from nature, we get sick. But if we stay with nature and learn what nature has for us, we stay healthy. So who's intelligent and who's not? You know, this makes me scratch my head sometimes. Put my glasses on, right? So, you know, one of the reasons why I live where I live is because I don't need sensory overload. I don't need noise. I don't need, you know, too much sound and smells and all that other stuff. Just leave me alone. So one of the things I seen, I was watching about sensory deprivation as a form of torture, and they said, is it actually a torture? Because there was one lady who was a librarian in London. She was 20-some years old and a librarian in London, and she decided she was going to quit, and she went to India, and she became a Tibetan monk, and or Tibetan nun, and after about 4 or 5 years, she went and lived in the cave for 10 years. So that's, you know, she decided to do, you know, isolation, not as a punishment, but as a spiritual path. So very, very interesting. But to sum up, you know, I'm back to my 2%. Think for yourself. Do things yourself. Learn how to fix things. Learn how to grow things. And stay away from stress. Number one. No need to, you know, if somebody wants to, you know, I was with somebody a while ago, and she always wanted to argue. So I said, I don't want to argue no more. So I got to the point, you know, if you can do it with a spouse, you can do it with anybody. You know, she just went off on one, and I'm just like, and I refuse to argue because you're just going down the same path. So no need to argue, no need to get stressed. People, you know, you get stressed because you allow other people to stress you. So, and I went and got some naughty cake today, so I'm going to go in the house and have a shower and cool off and sample a piece of that. So I wish you guys a good night, buckets of blessings, rivers of peace, joy, and kindness. And don't get stressed and stay healthy. Good night, guys.